How goes it, shipmates? There we go. How are you all doing? Good, I hope. Right, tonight, a bit earlier than usual, so sorry if I've caught anyone out. Switch the fan off for a bit. That's better. It's a bit of an annoying sound, that. Yeah. Making a funny clicky sound. Oh. Yes, so I just opened my tin of liquid sugar. There we go. Right, here we go. So tonight, beep, let's censor him for a minute. So we've got from Gripping Beast, our friends at Gripping Beast, we've got the Ghoul Grendel. And he sold for the Age of Magic saga. Sorry, Rog. I just love the way he says saga. Yeah. So, if you've not seen the Saga 4's Day, drop by and say hi to Rog because he's awesome. Okay, so this guy is Grendel the Ghoul. He's originally a very old Griffin Beast miniature that got redone for the Age of Magic and Halloween, I think. But you can still grab him off their website. Yes, he has a rather large nose, just like the Ghoul in Fallout. It's a missing nose, which is cool. Right, without further ado, we won't be waving the Ghoul around in the camera thing. I'm afraid I've forgotten what code he is on their website, but if you type in Grendel or the Ghoul or Saga Age of Magic, you will find him. So my apologies there. So first of all, I'm going with the deep grey. Now the one on the website is basically paint grey and a bit of dry brushing. So we're gonna do a little different tonight. So let's get our palette there so you can see what we're doing. I'm gonna put a little bit of our matte medium. I filled that up because that was a bit drying out earlier. So I'm gonna basically water this grey right out. If you've not seen my video on making your own matte medium, why not? Go watch it, it's good. If not, buy the Army Paint, what's it called? Pardon me. Wash medium. Oh no, that's the other one. There's another medium. But basically any of their mediums will work. And they're slightly cheaper than the Games Workshop Lame medium, which also is a very good product. So as you can see, let's zoom in on that. I'm just watering that grey right out and just basically making a thin layer all over it. It's quite dark grey, but as you see, it's that watery look. It's hardly any in there. That's how we want it. The undercoat we got on there today is our usual. We're using Vallejo Black for an airbrush with Vallejo Ghost Grey over the top. I think it's the only grey they do now. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But it's the only grey I seem to be able to get hold of. But it's okay because it's light grey's excellent. Saves you having to do a third coat of putting the white over the top. Sorry about the kids playing outside. It's summer. I've got the window open. I think they're slightly less annoying than the fan. But I'm not going to put that to the test and vote on it. So as you see, we're just laying a nice coat of this down. This is where we're letting, it's very transparent, we're letting the undercoat do its work. Obviously it's like the shade is just going to show straight through this. So let it, there we go. Should really got the hairdryer up so we can do lots of little layers. So what you don't want to just turn on and see me dry brushing. That'd be no good for you at all. So I guess it's nice. Now, technically, what you're doing there is, if you were dry brushing, you can see he looks like he's been dry brushed already, because your thinness of your grey is letting the highlight grey show through. So you're getting 3 highlights, as Jean-Luc likes. So, oh yeah, happy birthday, Jean-Luc. So, get well soon, mate. There we go. So we're just going to let that dry for a sec. I'm going to see if my handy hairdryer is handy. Because why wouldn't I want to put a bit of heat into the room on this nice warm summer's day? Okay, so I'll just move that from the camera a bit. Hopefully it won't be too loud. Otherwise we'll be sitting here watching paint dry. All you've got to be careful of when you're using a hairdryer, if you're using a wash, that you don't blow the colours out of the recesses. Hope you can hear me. I'm trying to talk close to the camera. Nearly there. That'll do it. Throw that there. Now, as you can see, already, that look interesting. We've got a lot of interesting shades going on in there. As I said, you could just paint his facial features in there, really, and maybe his hair, and you're done. But it'd be a bit boring if this was only a 10-minute video. So we're gonna play with it a bit more. Okay, so what we're gonna do next is it dry enough? Ideally, if you're doing this very thin paint, you really need to let it dry right out. It's a little bit damp under there. Okay, got a really interesting mouth going on there. That's gonna be great fun to play with in a minute. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is something a bit different, which is what you wanted to hear, I suppose. We're gonna grab our purple tone. So if Karen watches this later, there's your purple. I'm contractually obliged to put purple on anything when she watches the video. Okay, let's grab a cracked up brush, because tone will go straight up in. See, I left this one earlier. That was with some speed paint. I left it for this particular reason. This is a cheap brush, I didn't mind doing it. So what happens if you use a tone or your speed paint, it travels up into this metal part of the brush, which I'm rubbish at pronouncing, so I won't try and pronounce it live because I'll be struck off. And it dries, and then it slowly comes back into the bristles and splays the brush like that. That's why your brushes splay, kinda. So next we're gonna take up some of our medium, the dog snoring well, and we're just gonna gently, because I'm gonna have to go gentle because we don't want to scrub at it because it's not been dry very long, and you will lift that layer of grey. So I'm just going to keep mixing that medium in. I want the medium to run nicely off the highs. So I'm just putting some of that medium in to make sure that it travels. I find some of the paint examples on the Review Beast website. I try and show you how to get close to it. Others I think is worth playing around and doing something different. So I think, especially with the more fancy sort of side of stuff, it's nice to see it done slightly different. So I'm just going to run this purple all around the flesh. Again, if any of it has got too much purple, that's what we're going to deal with now. So we'll put that medium when it's going to give us a bit more time here. So I've washed and brush off. Next we're going to go around, I'm going to do some wicking. Now I've not described this for a long time. So to wick, basically if you see that puddle in there, I've cleaned my brush, it's a dry brush, and you just pop it in there and wick it away. Wash it back out. There's a bit too much in there, so we're going to take a little bit out there, a little bit out there. You can move it around as well, so you could wick it up into your brush and move it to somewhere else. So just going to work around the mini while we still can, but be careful. Like the other week when it's really hot, you have to be really quick, because once this dries, don't play with it, because it'll just mess up. But if you've got too much on one area, you can grab a bit of medium and put some medium there. The back of his knee's got loads in there, right? So we only want a little subtle amount. There we go. There we go. So we'll take some of that away. You'll find it generally does gather in one or two places on the mini. Don't want too much on the base. So we've already painted. So that base was just the normal pumice with our usual brown, oak brown mixture on it. See, there's a lot in the back of his hand there, so we're just going to wick some of that out. There we go. Now usually this bit you go on to paint a different area on the miniature, but we can't because he hasn't got any other details to do, so we're going to have to grab the hairdryer again. Hopefully, if I hold it all the way back over as far away as I can. Again, now I'm going to have to be double careful, because basically I don't want to be blowing the tone out of the creases, basically. But if we wait for it to dry, this is going to be a really long video. So please, on yours, you'll have time to be a bit patient. When we're layering and stuff, you really need to make sure it's dry. Otherwise, all this won't work. So I'm afraid, guys, you'll have to put up with the using the old hairdryer. Well worth investing in a cheap hairdryer. I always buy the smallest, cheapest travel one I can get hold of. I don't like spending £5-10 on them. Or buy somebody a new one for a present. Get a new Mrs. Good books. Buy her a nice hairdryer, then pinch her old one. Okay, so now you can see that purple's really sunk into the recesses. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go up a tone in the grey. Or shall we? Have I got a nice grey flesh? These are pale purplish red. Do it in these millions and millions of paints that you do. Haven't got the grey flesh that I wanted. Interesting. I'm sure I saw one the other day. I thought, that'd be ideal for that. One sec, guys. Just wait for a minute. Okay, we'll stick with the greys then. So we're going to go up another grey. So the first one we used was deep grey. So now we're going to jump to uniform grey. Grab our brush, a nicer one this time. I'm going to listen to the old doggy snoring. That's for our ASMR viewers. That's mixed in, so we'll wash the brush out, take the excess grey away. Now, we're going to just hit these higher areas. And what we're looking to do is kind of overpaint. We're still very thin, that. You see? Still very thin. Probably get a little bit thinner than that, but depends how fast you want to go. But what we're looking to do is just re-establishing that grey on the higher areas. So any recesses, all these crevices and that, we're going to leave the original grey and the purple in there. And any of the higher areas we're going to hit with this grey. Let's see how that's working. Dog's really excited about it. So, tomorrow, I'm doing it. Why am I? You may ask yourselves, why is Pirate Rich on earlier than normal? I don't know, Pirate Rich. Why are you on earlier than normal? I'm on earlier than normal because tomorrow I should be getting up at the crack of dawn and heading for Nottingham's BritCon, where I should be joining up with my shipmates from Griffin Beast to meet some of you fine chaps that are going, and chapesses that are going along. I have my own little stand at the Beast Mobile Beast Towers. They're busy setting up at the moment, I think. So I shall race down there in the morning. Get my little table set up. Some of these beauties we've been painting on the channel here. And some other goodies. And say hi. So if you are watching this and you are going to BritCon tomorrow, do come and say ahoy! So again, just around the face area there. I'm letting the grey be a little bit thicker, so I've got a little bit more control. I don't want it running into any of those crevices. I want some of that purple just showing through. I should be able to take this chap with me as well if I can find a space for him. The trays are fairly loaded up. Loaded up with loads and loads of miniatures for everyone to see and some to buy. Some will hopefully be finding some new homes so I can empty some of my shelves in this room. It's just crazily busy. So I'll just keep working around. I'm still using that same grey. I'm just building up that grey, you know what I mean? So I'm happy I've just got enough of that purple left. It's kind of a long-winded approach to painting this miniature. I think it's worth it. You see certain areas now are starting to really pick that grey out. There we go. That wasn't quite as thin. We shouldn't need the hairdryer that time. Plus, because it's not quite as thin, if it's a little bit damp, you're just going to get kind of a wet blend effect. So that's cool. You're not going to wash the paint off. Where if you're using a very thin, like glaze style, if it's wet, you'll wash the previous layer off, which you don't want to do. Okay, we're going to move up to ash grey. Yeah, absolutely, Mr. Clonk. Good evening. Yeah, you got to build. I think sometimes in a miniature like this, it's a good miniature. It's got a great pose, and you got to build up something for your eye to pick out. If you know what I mean. So we're going to go up to the next grey, which is ash grey. I'm just going to keep building those highlight areas. So we're going to add lots of medium again. Always think if you're doing lots of layering, thin paints. Thin paints are your friends. Because otherwise, you might as well just paint it a couple of colours and do a dry brush and call it there. Because otherwise, you're just going to hide the next layer, if you know what I mean. We want the layer we've just put on to almost show through our thinnest parts of paint. So build the depth, builds interest. So again, let's show you how thin this paint is I'm using. There we go. Pretty thin and watery. We're just going to come into those areas that you see on his thigh. It's just all perfect grey now. So we can leave these areas around the edge where the purple's sitting. I'm just going to come inside that, working from where the light's going to catch. The paint, as you see, as you put your paint down, especially as thinner paint, the paint will stay where your brush leaves the miniature. If that makes sense. So let's show on the shoulder. So we touch the shoulder there and we drag it this way. When we lift the paint up, can you see the paint actually stayed on that last lift? So you've got to be aware of that. So you've got to move the paint almost to where you want it. It's almost like dabbing it on, rather than brushing it on. It happens. Can you see the difference in that shoulder piece now on the top of his thigh? The thinner and wetter this paint gets, the more that will happen. So to control it, you have to think, where am I going to lift off? Where do I want this paint to be? I've just swapped to this brush. It's not got a particularly good point, this one. Struggle on. So I'm just using the tip of that brush just to place this paint in the higher highlight. This is like our first real highlight. That grey, last one was like it's establishing our grey areas. This is now starting to build highlight. Hopefully you guys should see it on video alright, and it should still show up what we're doing. It's a little tiny bit different to what we usually do. Again, just keep working in those areas. And if it looks a bit strong, like in there, wash your brush out. Take a bit of it away in the brush, or you can add a little bit of medium to your brush and just water the paint down a little bit. That works. Just move it around, a bit like we did with the wash. He's a right good snore. Okay. Keep working down these. We kind of created a bit of a map for ourselves at first, couple of greys. I mean, half an hour in, look, we're starting to build some interesting highlights on this, which is great. Think about where your light's gonna really illuminate him the most. Keep working around it. So you're happy with that? The ship's dog seems happy with that. Remember to shape your highlights as well. So it's like on that thigh, you make it round, don't leave it square. There's no real square in nature, it's all rounded. Yeah, he's going for it today. He had a big run round down the park earlier and it's quite warm, so yeah. Got his level right this week rather than him being a nightmare. Yes, top snoring. He's not snoring, he's dreaming in motorcycle. Again, let's give that a moment to just settle. Can you give it a quick blast with the hairdryer? But we're not too worried about that because we trust our light. If you're light on your strokes, you'll be fine. So next is up in the is company grey, which is light grey. We're just going straight through the triads here. Because why not? That's what army paint made them for. I'm going to drop a drop of medium straight into that one because we want that nice and thin. That's straight. I was trying to use that autofocus to our advantage this week. There we go. I think it's working better. So again, let's have a look how thin we are. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Sometimes it's worth just checking. That'd be good. So now we want to go inside those highlighted areas. So let's use the fire as example again. So we're going to start at the top. I'm just going to touch. Probably like a Pac-Man shape. That. I don't know if that's the technical painting term. Just need a little bit more medium in that. It's a little bit dry. When I'm doing this, I like the paint really loose. There we go. That's a little bit thick, so we're going to put some medium on there. I'm going to come back. Add some medium onto the miniature itself. That's just pure medium going on there. So I'm just thinning it on. Just feathering those lines out. Take a bit of there. It looked too bright at the moment, but that will calm down. Keep that medium going. Then just all these highlighted areas, I'm just gonna where it's gonna look lighter going on, and as it dries, because it's very transparent. I think translucent is probably the best word to use rather than transparent, isn't it? But yeah, see-through like. I'm just making sure, because as it dries, it will let the layers underneath show through anyway. And that purple, we want him to look a bit blotchy. So you can always go back in at the end if you've destroyed all the purple, or you want it just to look a little bit different. You can go back in the end and just place some of the tone into the areas you want. Okay. So we're only going, this lighter shade's only going into areas that the sun's directly going onto his skin. Knuckles under there, look. Edge of his hand. Again, as you're highlighting on our normal ones, leaving a break sometimes actually works, makes it look better. So don't go right along there. Don't edge highlight him, you know what I mean? his muscles are quite nicely defined, so it's pretty easy to pick out where you need to be. With his face, I'm going to go slightly thicker the paint, make sure my brush isn't overloaded, and I just want to eyebrows down that centre line of his forehead, a couple of dots right on top of his head, what's left of his nose, top of those cheekbones, bottom of those jowls, across the top of his, what's left of his lip, and the bottom lip. The face is fairly, I didn't realise that the face was so detailed on this miniature. It's a really lovely miniature. I might sound surprised, but you know when you miniatures, when you pick them up, sometimes you don't really look at them very well. I'm a bugger for that. Oh, I like that one. I'll grab it, and then when you start painting it and you look at it properly, you think, ah, that's really nice. The face on this is really nice. Look, it's starting to really look quite menacing. So next we're going to go Brigade Grey, which is our very light grey. This is almost up into those whites. That's another thing you can, if you find your paints are drying just a little bit quick and you want to do some wet blending, their retarder is really good. Something I don't do amazingly often, but it's good fun to try. You have to do a video for that. Yes. So next, again, we're going to add some medium. Oh, this is really white. Okay, so now you've got to be really sparing with this. This is only going to go on the very highest areas. And only small amounts. This is your less is more moment. If you go crazy with this, you're going to have to go back a couple of steps. That's the thing, is if you get to a point where you think, I've just painted it grey, go back a step, go get the grey from the step before and paint some of the shadows back in. Or you could even go completely crazy and maybe make a grey, dark grey wash, or use a black wash. All these things work. Keep not too much on your brush. We're going to carry on working around. Just touching down lightly in the highest of those areas. This kind of does the same job as a dry brush, but you're being more precise, if you know what I mean. So instead of everything getting a highlight, you're just picking out your highlighted spots. And if you, as I said, if you really want to paint this guy quick, paint him grey, dry brush him, pick out the details, boom, done. this would have been a 20-minute video, tops. Here's more medium in there. Just keep that medium going. I'm going to go a bit too much on our brush. Take a little bit out. Tiny lines across that forehead. Across that cheekbone, across the bridge of his nose. His jowls. There we go. And have a look round the miniature on the top of his ears. I think, is there anywhere where I really want it to have a little pop? If there is, put a little highlight on it. Tops of the feet are another good area. Do the edge of his that foot there and his ankle. Look. Just building up. When we started quite soft, you can work around, build it up. You look in and thinking, yeah, I'm a little bit more now. There we go. I think that's cool. So next, we're going to do his hair. Now, I think we can give him a nice dark brown here. We're going for Brigadine Brown. Been really easy to do grey, but I think we're going to make this as interesting as we can. So this is Brigadine Brown, which is a blackish brown, not brownish black. There is a brownish black, but it's not quite as dark. I think that's obsidian skin. I'm just going to lay this down. Just a bit of medium in it. I very rarely use any of the paints without any medium in it, even if they're on a wet palette. I just have a little dip. I just find that even not filling the paint, if your brush has got the medium in it, it's a little bit damp, it just seems to let the paint flow off it quicker. Sorry, easier. So we could play a game with this guy, couldn't we? So if you're going to BrickCon tomorrow and you see this video, which is going to be quite a challenge because you might already be there, I will leave a password with Darren at Griffin Beast. Darren around. If you see Darren or Randy at Griffin Beast store, and you're subscribed to my channel and following the pages as much as you can, I will leave a password with the Beastie Boys. And if you come over to me and tell me the password, so I've got a bit of brown on his ear. He just wasn't concentrating. There we go. Just wash it off. All you do is, while it's still wet, just get your brush in there, get a little bit of water around it, make sure you sort it out, because it's easier to sort it out there and then go back and do it. That was me trying to, oh, pardon me, chat around other stuff. Right, what was I saying? Yes. So if you go into BrickCon tomorrow, just on the Saturday, and you go and see the Griffin Beast Boys and say, "Ahoy, shipmates!" Have you got Pirate Rich's password? And if you do, come and see me and give me the password. And you're the first one there. What should we do? Should we sell you this guy for £5? So it just covers the cost of my miniature. How does that sound? Yes, you too can own Grendel for £5 painted. I best get him finished now, aren't I? There's only one of them, so it'd be first come, first serve. None of our facts tonight because I know Rich is already at BrickCon, so he would not have heard that. So it rules him out. Just letting it dry a sec. Okay, so what we're doing next is I'm going to paint some white into his mouth. Just get some matte white on board. Oh yeah, a bit far to travel for one day, mate, isn't it? I think I'm going to try and do something for our 1,000th subscriber, which will be soon as well. I'm talking to some people how the best way to do like some sort of giveaway. So I'm just going to paint his mouth out matte white. Oh right, yeah. Sorry, I've mistaken you for our American friend. Then I thought, sorry, buddy. You're probably closer to it than I am then. Okay, so that's our white in there. So look at our. There's a little bit of hair. It's almost very tempting to do like glowing eyes, but I just wanted to have like, I'm just gonna do like red eyes. Okay, let's give that wait a second to dry. And what we'll do is we get the next brown up, which is bootstrap brown. Sorry I moved you to the States there, Mr. Clonk. Yeah, so I think I've got to leave about 5 o'clock in the morning. So I was going to do this last night, and I thought, oh, that'll be all right. I'll just move it an hour forward. I'm all packed, ready to go. So just run it out to the car in the morning. So with that bootstrap brown look, I'm just going to gently use the edge of my brush. This is like edge highlighting, so I'll just lay the brush over those, oh, pardon me, over the bristly bits. Even putting that dark brown in the recesses. The reason I did brown hair rather than the grey or black was purely to, I thought it would, first of all, it would frame the face better. So you've got a nice round face now. If you'd done grey hair, it would all mingled in a bit, so it separates the head from the body. Let's get to the next brown, which is leather brown, which is going to be our top highlight. Just pit. It's a bit like our highlighting before, so you don't want to go down all the strand. Just want to touch on the odd one. This is just like playing with the idea of the light just catching the odd strand. So we don't want too much of it in there, we just want it. Somebody's going to get a bargain for a £5 here, aren't they? Perhaps no one. Perhaps no one will see the video and be at BrickCon. That's a maybe, isn't it? Okay, so next for his gums, we want like a purple red. Ooh, let's go for basilisk red. Yeah, I think the actual unpainted miniature is £4.50. So yeah, I'm getting a meager 50p for painting this. Right, I forgot to say what paint that was. Let's just paint it in a sec. It was basilisk red, dark purplish red. You could go with a pink or just a pure red there if you wanted, but I just wanted his gum to look a little bit. Doesn't matter if you get a little bit on his teeth, just try not to get the skin. I'll just drop a bit in the center. This is where you can get a bit of medium, more a little bit, and just touch it into the middle. Looks like he's wearing lipstick at the moment, isn't it? Let that dry a sec. I'm gonna come with, well, let's go with pure red. Pure red. I'm not going to use any medium. Just going to use the very point of my brush. So. Good evening, Ben. No, that's an entrance in the chat room. Good entrance, my friend. Entrance of the Week award goes to Ben. And what's Ben glued himself to do today? Oh, nice. Good work, my friend. Okay. So we should, let's grab a repants brush again. And we're going to go back with medium into our original purple tone. Okay, and we're going to drop a bit around his mouth. And then we're going to just drop a bit into the eye sockets. You know, that little bit of a shadow will give the red a little bit of a depth. Oh wow. I can't imagine you with any other way, Ben, than sitting there with bits of miniatures and bits of plastic kit stuck to your face. I know it's a terrible, terrible, terrible thing I got, but welcome to my insane pirate brain. So you could glue loads of them on. Not like a metal miniature. Are they metal? 15mm, they could be metal. Or if you got some 3D printed ones, you could really go to town on sticking them because they're so light. Oh, sorry, Ben, your friend's not on screen, is he? There we go. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, yeah. It takes some persistence, wouldn't it? Oh, bless. Okay, so that purple is almost dry in there. So let's Get rid of that brush again. I'm gonna just go back in with the matte white. Oh, pardon me. Just pick out the detailing on those tufts. I say, like, from the packet, I would have never guessed this miniature was so cool. Look at that face. Have a second. By the way, apparently I'm not a complete moron when it comes to painting and gluing. Oh, congratulations, Ben. Well done. So you got the Flames of War in Poland last weekend. Managed to win the best painted armies. Mate, awesome. Send me pictures. Send me pictures on my Facebook page. I could put them up on the. Do you want me to tag you in them as well? Say how awesome you are. Because I do think that's awesome. I'm generally awesome. Like, I've been gobsmacked by Ben's awesomeness, so I'll get back on with the. I think we're pretty much done, in fairness. Mate, take the win. Ben, it was all you. Take the win, my friend. I'm going to glory in it by just knowing you, mate. Okay, what we're going to do, I'll go in Wyvern Fury, which is the next purpley red up. I'm just going to need a little drop of this. There's quite a big jump between them two, in fairness, before you get to red. I just wanted to highlight those gums a little tiny bit. So a little tiny dab of paint on the back, and I'm looking to just dot it in there. There we go. In between, there we are. Look at that. I'm going to use a bit on his eyeball as well, because that's awesome colour. There we go. How about that? That's a face in your mother could love. Or Ben. probably after a few beers though, Ben, eh? I think, in fairness, I think he's done. So let's finish him off. First of all, we get the black paint out. Grab one of these. Yeah, I sometimes put a dot on them, but I don't think they'll benefit from having a dot in. But that's just where we went back in that with that purple, just to darken the socket a little bit. I don't usually do that very much on ordinary flesh, because sometimes you can make them look like they've had a black eye. So we're painting the black ring of victory. We'll have a little burp to ourselves. Hope that didn't come out. Wash the brushy out. the face is really, I say, really impressed by the actual miniature. It's an old one. Let's grab some Gamer's Grass Tufts, because they are the ones I like. Yeah, so remember, guys, if you're watching this back and you're going to BrickCon tomorrow, go see the Gripping Beast stand, or yeah, I'll try and get Dr. Bob. He's got his Ecorche's demo game, the medieval skirmish game. I'll leave a password of him as well, because Dr. Bob knows this shit. Okay, let's just chuck these. I'm going to get into trouble with him for keep saying that. I do like Gamer's Grass. Gamer's Grass Tufts are my favourite tufts at the moment. I used to like the army paint ones. I still like the army paint ones. It's just I think these I've got a bit of yellow paint on my tweezers. I don't know my base. Yes, as I was saying. That'll do. Just the two. Let him dry for a bit, lacquer him for a bit, and I'll put him in one of the trays that's going along tomorrow with our painted miniatures. I'll take some miniatures just to display. Oh yeah, let's get the whole conversation for people that have just joined. There's a few more just joined. Yeah, so I'm early because I'm going to BrickCon tomorrow. I've got a table in the Gripping Beast area, and I'm going to have lots of my nice miniatures to display and sell. But the important bit is, if you've watched this video and you subscribe to me, which would be very nice of you. Cheers, Ben. If you go and see the Beastie Boys, Darren and Andy, or Dr. Bob, I will leave a password with them. And if you're the first one to come to see me at my table, I'll sell you this chap for £5 English. How's that sound? Well, the seagulls seem impressed. Yeah, so there we go. I think he's done. That was our hour and 10 minutes pre-show quick special. I'll give him a little while just to dry off, and then I'll lacquer him. Nice. Good work, Ben. Yeah, so hopefully one of our subscribers could come see me tomorrow and grab him for a £5. And that'd be bargain, 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 bargain. Right, I'm going to leave it there, I think, because I've still got a little bit of stuff to sort out for tomorrow. I'm going to thank you all for joining me. Sorry it was early. Sorry it was a short one. But again, thanks for joining me, guys. If you're seeing this, don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Yeah, cheers, buddy. I will. I'll try and get some photos. I usually say, oh, I'll try and go live, but I know tomorrow I'm on my own. But I'll try and get some photos up, because there's lots going on in the Beast area. There's the demo game of Ecorche's, which I've probably pronounced completely wrong. Dr. Bob will tell me off, but it's a really good game that's going to be supported by Gripping Beast. Medieval skirmish game. It's awesome. Also, I think Andy's doing a rather scrumptious looking game of Jugular, the gladiator game. I've just painted all the gladiators for my display. But he's got the big gladiatorial arena. Check out Griffin Beast's site. They've got pictures of it on there. So there's that to it. And I think there's also a sword point and Iron Man Saga event going on, I think. Plus all their show stuff. So yeah, if you've seen this video and you're going tomorrow, pop by and say ahoy. That's all I can say. You'll spot the piratey looking dude straight off. Like, quite easy to spot. Right, there we go. There's Grendel the Ghoul. Yeah, cheers, Ben. And thank you for the laughter. It was brilliant, mate. And all back to normal next week, hopefully. All being well. Right, I'm off then. Cheers then, guys. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share. See you tomorrow. And bye for now.